first thing on the docket, I think we probably need to start with a fucking congratulations, MajiinBae, taking it down, first place. Well done, well done.
This crazy motherfucker.
Such a crazy turnaround. It was awesome to watch. It was nice to play him too.
Yeah.
Well deserved. I mean,
yeah,
both of you guys had a great run.
Your final was crazy.
My final was crazy. Yeah, Inaguera. Great games. Check them out, guys, if you haven't seen them. Very fun games.
Tell us a little bit about it. Give us a little play-by-play, what it was like for you, because like there was.
Can we check out those games?
You can check them out on the main Runeterra YouTube channel. I haven't actually posted them yet on YouTube. Go ahead, Jason. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, give us a little bit of like an overview of what it was like. There's like technical difficulties. Like, I felt bad for you. It's like it's bad enough when you're all amped up and you're like you want to go compete, but then it's like it was like 2 rounds in a row. You're like stop go. Like you had to wait for other rounds, wait for technical stuff to happen. You couldn't even play in client. You had to go like I don't even know how you guys did the bans or anything, but yeah, give us a little taste of what it was like.
So the first 2 rounds went normal for everyone but Raptor. His second round was weird. He got like an auto loss in the client, so they had to make an extra round just for him and his opponent. And we all just waited an hour, and then I play like from then on out. It was actually round 3. Most people got to play normal, but I was against Raptor or Raptero, as you Runeterra players would probably call him. I was against him for round 3, the quarterfinals match. And so we had to like friends challenge each other, and we didn't have the client bans. So we had to like message in like a middle guy, a middleman. We had to like message him our deck codes. And then, yeah, like one of the admins. And then we had to like whisper to him like our bans, right? We'd like send a DM to him and be like, hey, I want to ban TFIz. And he'd go, okay. And then he'd wait for like Raptero to come in and like ban one of my decks. And then he'd message both of us what we banned. It would.
And how did it work for the deck list? It just gave you like mobiletic links, or you just give you the code and like you deal with it yourself?
Codes. Yeah, just the codes. And then I just put in I put it in mobilytics because I like the way the mobilytics one looks. That's what I'm used to.
I would have done that.
And I don't want to miss a card just because I wasn't used to like the way it looked. That'd be really embarrassing if I died to Might because I didn't see it or something. And then it was stressful the last couple of matches, not just because the matches, right? But like I would win my round, and then you would have no idea when you were playing. No idea.
Yeah.
You just had to like wait. And so you're just like sitting there, and I'm like on stream with a delay, like trying to be kind of entertaining. But it's hard because I can't play games because I might like just be in my semifinals match or whatever. And I just don't know what's going on with everyone else in the tournament. So you're just like sitting there, like trying to burn time, trying not to just continuously get more stressed out. I will say the staff handled the problems way better than I would have. They handled it very well, considering everything that happened. It's just unfortunate that it happened.
Yeah, totally. And it's even more impressive. Not only did you win, which is super impressive, but you did it while you were streaming, which just makes everything so much more difficult. And you had all those technical issues. Fucking really well done, man. Congrats.
Thank you.
And so now me, Jason, Sensational, and What Am I and I guess Kev can fight over who gets to win the third one. Since Pushy won the first one and you won the second one.
We have to keep it in the team. We have to keep it in the team.
Yeah, we have to win it. We just have to keep it between ourselves.
Seasonal number 7. Someone else gets a chance.
And we'll be fighting amongst yourselves.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, well, now on to the fun stuff. I hear there's like some new cards. I wouldn't know. I've been playing Go Hard and Lee Sin. But every now and then someone plays something. I'm like, I haven't seen that before. So let's jump into it. We got a new ladder.
Shurima drops, and this guy just plays Go Hard. Who is this guy? What's going on?
I've been playing Lee Sin Zoe also. What are you talking about? Okay.
I'm sorry. So much better. My bad.
Discard aggro. I got lots of decks. All right.
All right.
I'm not the brewer on the team. Okay. What am I?
Yeah,
Kev?
You were playing discard aggro. You're a mad lad.
Oh my goodness.
Disappointed.
Okay, what do you guys think is hot?
Like just go. Let's like go around and say like what are our like 2 favorite decks that we're seeing right now.
Two
Yeah.
favorite decks with new cards.
Yeah, with new cards. No saying
yeah.
go hard and Lee Sin, Jason. You gotta figure
Go hard
something
and
out.
listen.
Okay, well, I'll go first because mine's gonna be
Alright.
probably shorter. Let's see. I like the Twisted Fate. What's the 5-drop? The new Go Hard deck. Kindred. Twisted Fate Kindred deck looks pretty legit. Kindred's real good against like any sort of like a Lee Sin Zoe deck that he doesn't have like direct removal. It was a nightmare kind of matchup, so I like that deck. And then the Trundle, the new Freljord champion.
Lissandra?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm so bad at names. That deck was an absolute. I've never beat it with Go Hard. An absolute beating. So both those decks I thought were really good. I've seen a bunch of the other ones, like the more aggro lists and stuff, and I've been kind of unimpressed with them. And they're particularly good as of yet. But so that's kind of my outlook so far on the new decks.
There's one aggro deck that like scares the bejesus out of me. Like I've only seen it once or twice, but Lucian Azir looks nasty.
It is
every time I see that nonsense. Like, boy,
it would be even better when the bug is fixed. You know about the bug?
No. What's going on?
So there's a good card. The Cataclysm card is a good card, right?
Yeah.
So, but the problem with Cataclysm is there's kind of a bug right now where the one that just challenges a unit. Yeah, and if you're the one that's like blocking, once the Cataclysm resolves, you can just pull your unit back to your bench. And like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. Like, no, you can't do that. Like for sure. Like, it's still like hits you in the face because like it challenged you, but you're just like, oh no, I'm okay. But like you can pull back your creature and just basically kill the card. Yeah, and it's a good card, but I've seen that bug like once or two times if people have been abusing it, and it's 100% a bug. But Azir Lucian is a real deck. I think it's a good deck.
That's so funny.
So yeah, you can just like, I would rather you not do this and just put back your creature.
0 mana burst speed deny. Bye. I'm good. I'm good out here.
Pack your bags. Like, no, put that back. No.
So
back in your hand.
Speaking of bugs, just to like the new Shurima deny, anytime you play the new Shurima deny, the spell just like stays there. Which is like, I live here now. We're good. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Any other decks you like outside of that aggro deck?
Oh, so the aggro deck, I haven't gotten a chance to play it yet, but it looks absolutely sick. I've been messing around with the Trundle Ladros Lissandra control. That's done some really good things. And then for a little bit spicier, I've been playing Aphelios Talia, where what you do is you play Veiled Temple on 4, you Talia your Veiled Temple, and then because Talia says an exact copy, when she copies your Veiled Temple already in play, it's seen you play her. So if you play a burst speed spell, both of them trigger, give you 4 mana back, and double pump your Talia.
Yeah,
and it gets absolutely insane.
It was one of my picks too. This deck is very nice. I feel it was Talia.
I have been having so much fun with that nonsense. Also, I'm an Endure player. One more little piece of spicy tech I will drop before I pass it off to Kever. Let's say you're next.
Right.
Is I have been playing Blighted Ravine and Endure, and that sounds like the trolliest fucking thing, and it is busted.
That's the
okay,
right?
Yup.
Okay.
Yup.
Yeah, Blighted Ravine is spicy. It's very good. I saw that just like all the Shurima's card, like all the predict stuff and things. Like I like all those cards. Like in any deck, I've played the Sandra Shurimas. I've played Aphelios Talia and things like that. I'm on Lee Shurimas right now. Just the 2/3 predict, the clockwork thing, the ancient prep, the things that gets the champions. It's just new plays and play patterns that we haven't seen before. So like all the Shurima decks, I just like a lot. And yeah, I like Lee Shurimas is what I'm working on right now. I'm very skeptical on what is the best Lissandra's list. I think Lissandra's very good. I think she's a safe craft. And there's going to be like at least a tier 2 deck with her. But I'm not sure which version. Would it be with Roar? Would it be with, not Roar, but with Atrocity Ledros, or both of them? With the 4/5, without the 4/5? Are you like even going SI, or are you going? I've seen like a Sandra Shurima's list with like the 9.
Oh god, have you seen the Ionia version?
Yeah, I've seen the Ionia version with like a Fill the Rush Mina and things like so. So there's so many versions, but for sure there's one that's better, and I think it's not clear right now which is it. So that's what I'm pretty interested in. And the concurrent timeline deck is interesting. Not sure it's as broken as people have been saying on Twitter, but it is a good deck. Concurrent timeline.
No, it's not. I
Yeah,
don't
the
think it's
problem. The problem with the concurrent timelines deck is it's a really interesting take on Karina control, except that your win con involves coin flipping and hoping your opponent isn't playing Hush or Vengeance, which is a little tough.
Yeah, it's no, it's not always consistent, and there's many counterplay.
But to be fair, it is still the highest win rate deck I've made so far.
Really?
In Shurima.
So what about your deck? What do you like so
don't
far?
lose
Ben?
with that deck. It's
Is it because you make all of your coin flips?
I've missed like 3 in a row and still won, but I do make. I mean, it's
Wow.
like 60%, right? It's like a weighted coin flip.
It's
Yeah, it's 60 or slightly more.
It's a poker coin
yeah.
flip. It's
Yes.
it's pocket jacks.
Yeah, exactly. It's pocket jacks versus ace king. Yeah, you're coin flipping. So it's been very good, and what I'm trying now is like the more creature heavy version that gets rid of Karina, and you just like lean on the concurrent timelines a little bit more with things like Blighted Caretaker, the 3/1 that makes an 0/1, Doom Beast, that kind of stuff. It's
No, I've seen both of those lists. I'm not sure which one's better.
It's quite strong. And then I like the creature heavy list more with Kindred because it lets you trigger
So
your
Kindred is better with more creatures.
yeah, with more creatures. Yeah. Especially because like they point more removal at your creatures, and then it frees up Kindred, right? If I'm playing against like a Vengeance deck or something, or any deck with like removal that can remove Kindred, Thermo Beam or something, and I'm not playing any other units, the second I play Kindred, he's going to die because it's just sitting in their hand. But the unit heavy version, he's able to like run away with it a little more, and then you can chip them down. And then usually Ledros into Dreadway, they kill your Dreadway. It doesn't matter, you're at 4, and I play Mystic Shots and Doom Beast, right? Like that's kind of the strength of the deck. Sometimes you just win. But
I think if the deck is good, it's on the strength of that mid-range deck because you're getting this is a solid mid-range deck with good removal tools. And by the way, I have this accidental OTK. It becomes more along the power level of Endure, where you're just like, I'm gonna do a bunch of broken things. Oh, by the way, 2020, as opposed to you're putting yourself all in on that coin flip.
I totally agree. Yeah, totally agree.
Do you ever just like outvalue them by just like randomly getting super strong creatures and just like running them over that way?
Yeah, I played the Spirit Leech, the 4/1 that like glimpse beyond your unit, right? I played it last game. I played it on stream today and got an Ancient Crocodile, and I was like,
oh god, oh god.
I also play like the Chem Punk card that deals 1 to everything, and it's like a 5/2. It's like a horrible card. But when you can flip it into
no, it's okay because it's a 5-drop. Like it's basically random 5-drop deals 1/2 to your whole board. It's almost never bad.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
If you have concurrent timeline, if you don't, the card is awful.
Prediction right now. So somebody's gonna go concurrent timeline, turn 4 Ancient Crocodile in the next seasonal, and people are gonna lose their fucking minds.
Yeah, nice balance.
I don't. Go ahead.
Timelines it's just not fun to play against, especially when they just absolutely high roll, and when they just drop Ledros. If you don't play a deck that has an answer, then you're just like you either lose or you probably lose in like a turn. So I don't necessarily think the deck's like too strong. It's just one of those decks that feels bad to play against, and we've definitely had a lot of those in the past.
So what decks are you excited for, Jason?
I think to no one's surprise, I really like Kindred. I think a lot of us did really look out for Kindred going in. I've been playing around a little bit with like Kindred Gnosis, either in like a more aggro shell or like in a more mid-range one. I think it's alright, but I think like I'm surprised that like Kindred feels so intricate in like the ways where you want to try to set up block.
It's like the most complicated things ever when you play with it, and like the first block puts a mark on something, and then the second block kills the market unit, which pumps your Kindred that is now eating like something that was not that was bigger than Kindred at first, things like that. Like so many different ways you
Yeah,
can
so
sum
like
it up.
my favorite example is like against an Azir deck when they attack, there's like 3 Sand Soldiers. If you block any one of them that isn't the last one the other Sand Soldiers gets marked, and you don't want that. So you have to like mark the last Sand Soldier to like mark their backline Azir or something like that. So I think Kindred itself is very intricate in the way it can be played. I'm actually surprised it doesn't feel like overly powerful. Out of like most of the things I've seen so far, Kindred actually feels really fair.
Still a
Which seems
5-mana
kind of surprising,
champion.
at least to me. Right, it's just a very strong but seemingly fair champion. It doesn't really have a win condition in of itself. So that's a champion I've definitely been looking out for and really enjoying playing around with. I haven't actually been able to play too much of the expansion so far. I liked Lissandra a little bit. I think obviously anything card like this introduces like a completely new way to play the game, and so that's always exciting to look out for. But I've been trying to make some sort of like Noxus deck work, either like a Swain one with like Freljord. These are more meme-ish ideas, but like with Ice Shard and like Auroch. Or like some people are seeing if Whispered Woods can bring back Yasuo Swain, which I highly doubt. But there's some things in Noxus I'm looking out for.
Yeah,
have
so
you tried out Swain Sejuani? Because that one was like almost there,
Almost
and
good,
like
yeah.
maybe Blighted Ravine can make it good. I haven't had a chance to test it yet.
Mhm. Yeah, I've tried a little bit. Obviously, I haven't like optimized anything yet. It doesn't feel too good just yet, but I haven't put too much time into it. But it seems interesting.
That's fair.
How about
Although
you,
I
Jake?
put
Do you have
Auroch
your
into it
favorite
and
deck?
tried it with Ice Shard, so that might not be optimal.
I've been playing a lot of everything. I tried a little bit of everything. I like the concurrent timelines deck, obviously. I've been the list that seems so much like changing is probably my Lissandra list, mostly Lissandra Trundle. It's like, do I go on the 1-drop that makes the big dudes? Do I cut all those and the 5-mana 5/4 that like speeds them up? Do I go for like the combo-y, get out the Watcher, or do I go for more of a Ledger's Atrocity kind of build? That's the one that's seen the most change, and I don't think I'm anywhere close to an optimal list. The concurrent timeline's obviously very good. I have been playing Kindred Nasus, which is better than we thought it was going to be. I
I
think.
wish Nasus was good. Is it good?
So I actually I played a game or two against, I think Nick Makes Plays was on this, and it was actually really impressive. Like it basically runs the aggro Endure Shell, and then it gets to set up Atrocity plus Deny, which is a little fucking dumb. I'm not gonna
Very
lie.
strong, yeah. And it just plays like, for those of you who played Magic, it just plays like Jund. It just does powerful things, and like it's just gonna grind you out most likely, and then its things are bigger, and then it kills you, or
So
it
it's
just
like
plays
the-
Nasus and throws them at your face.
So it's like the Ender Shell, but top end Nasus Atro.
Yeah,
Endure Shell, top end Nasus, Atro, Kindred, and then you also get to run. You basically get to run all of the card draw in Glimpse, Stalking Shadows, and the Leech, and then you also get the 0-mana Shurima Sacrifice that finds your champions. And there's it has so many different points of card draw that it's really hard to shut it down. And then eventually it sets up like a 14, 15 power Nasus with Atrocity and Deny, and it's really hard to deal with everything that they present. Like, I think unless you're on freezes or hushes, that deck is likely to be advantaged into you.
It's tough
and
to
possibly sometimes even then.
Yeah, it's the one problem I'm having now is that I need to know whether I go the more aggressive route or whether I go the more controlling route with like maybe Withering Whales, or like what I need to be prepared to beat, and I just don't know yet because you're playing against everything. Nobody knows what's good yet, so I could be running into a bunch of aggro decks or just a bunch of Lissandra decks, and I think once you get those flex spots down, the deck will get more powerful once we like really know what we want there. But it's better. It's definitely better than I thought it was going to be.
I would actually not be surprised if that deck ends up being like some version of that deck ends up being tier 1, because the way you're talking about it right now, I don't know exactly which way to tech it. That's kind of the mark of a tier 1 deck, right? Because the ability to adapt and be good into whatever the meta is giving you, depending on how you tech the deck, is one of the biggest defining points of a deck that can be tier 1. So
Yeah.
I kind of expect big things from Nasus Kindred.
Best example last season would be something like Aphelios Bilgewater. Like, how do you build it? Yeah, it's just so many different ways because it's just so good and so powerful.
Powerful shell, very strong flex slots.
If you just have like a stupidly powerful 30 to 33 card shell, then the deck can shift in lots of different directions.
Speaking of, do you guys think we should? Do you guys think like Aphelios is fine now on 3-2 or still too strong? Like in 2 weeks, we're still like in experimenting phase and everybody's trying new things. But do you think in 2 weeks we're just gonna be back to TF Fizz, Aphelios, Bilgewater if they don't nerf anything again?
So actually, first of all, the new Endure deck that I've been running destroys TF Fizz, like actually.
Good.
Which feels really good. And makes me think that we're actually getting some counterplay. I think Blighted Ravine in general will give a lot of decks a lot better counterplay into TF Fizz. Just because it's Blighted Ravine into aggro. I don't know if I can explain how good that card is. Like, I've been yelling about this to everyone who will listen. It's so dumb. I think Aphelios' nerf to 3-2 is a big deal because we're using things like Blighted Ravine and Avalanche.
Because now there's more 2 damage things in the metagame with Ravines and more SIs, which makes sense. But TF, can we nerf TF?
I would still really like to see a TF nerf.
Thank God. Okay.
I'm with
Anybody
you,
else got a hot take here that we shouldn't nerf TF, or we're all in the TF?
No, we should have nerfed TF 100%. I think Aphelios is probably fine. I'm okay with things being the best thing.
No,
something's going to be the best, right? And if Aphelios is the best champion, that's okay. But if he's the best champion and nothing else is close, that's not okay. And I think making him a 3-2 helps a ton. We'll have to wait and see. Probably like 2 weeks for the meta to kind of settle down a bit. But I really like it so far.
Yeah, I put against.
I have probably. You first. Sorry.
Okay. I was just gonna say I put against a couple of Aphelios decks today, and yeah, him being a 3-2 made a huge difference. Just like damage adding up to where he can't block or he ends up dying. It was significant for sure. And then on the Twisted Fate side, like I love Twisted Fate. I even like Twisted Fate Fizz. Don't tell anyone. But I still am like, okay, like it kind of enough's enough, right? Like a little something. What do you think? A 2-1? Make it a 2-1? So I think something's got to just like a little bit.
Pick a card needs to be 4 mana.
Pick a card 4.
And if that's not enough, it needs to be a 2-1, or you have to take away a 2 non-blue card.
Something.
Pick a card needs to be 4 mana.
The play pattern is too strong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with either Twisted Fate to 2-1, pick a card to 4, or level up condition to 10. I think any of those 3 would make him a very powerful but acceptable card.
Yeah, 2 of those might be too strong, but like if just 2-1, maybe it's still a little bit awkward.
If he's a 2-1, he just gets pinged all the time. Like it just becomes too easy to answer, which I'm cool with.
I mean, sure, but then we still have the play pattern of pick a card, TF blue card on 4, untap Rummage.
Yeah, which is Exodia. Like, do you have the answer?
And that's my problem with Twisted Fate. And then I think if you make his level up condition be 10, the problem with that, 10 cards drawn. The problem with that is that you remove the possibility of leveling him up outside of P and Z. So if you're not playing Twisted Fate P and Z, you're not leveling him up. It's just not happening. Unless like they literally can't remove him in 7 turns. And I don't like that.
I guess the reason that I'm kind of on the other side of this one from Majin. The reason I really like sending him up to 10 cards is the way he's printed right now really restricts design space. Like, you can't make good card draw with the way he's currently set up. You cannot make sufficiently good card draw, and maybe the answer to that is that we just don't want that kind of card draw in our game anyway. But you just can't make a certain level of card draw without breaking TF, given where he currently is.
It depends which color we're talking about. I'm using the word color instead
of regions,
but like some regions just don't have like draws is not in their like color identity. Well, Bilgewater is the card draw region in theory. It should be the region with the best card draw, and we're seeing that like kind of shifted with PNZ with like Rummage and things, which should be conditional card draws where like you're discarding things to draw more cards, but it's in fact just better card draw than what Bilgewater have usually. And stress testing is probably a big part of that.
Stress testing was a huge problem, yeah.
I guess in general, I'm against cards that restrict design space. That's where I want it.
Go in your collection, just select the Demacia and type draw.
Okay, look. I get that you can't play Twisted Fate Demacia, but here's the thing. What if, for whatever reason, they decide Demacia needs card draw? They can't put amazing card draw even in Demacia, because we'll play Demacia Bilgewater Twisted Fate. Like,
Yeah, no, I get the argument. It does. I'm kind of swayed to your side too. I don't hate now putting him at 10, but it basically, like Majin says, the counter problem to that is just now that without like P and Z, you're probably not realistically flipping TF. Like TF go hard now. Why would you even like play go hard like TF would go hard? You just like swap it out for something else, which we might just say that it's fine to not like play TF in that kind of deck anymore.
like, does anyone remember where TF started? Because I do. And what I remember is that you weren't supposed to flip TF. Flipping TF is not supposed to happen.
I remember TFGP.
Sorry.
Yeah.
He's
I remember
really
TFGP.
cool...
Yeah.
Yeah, TFGP or TF Swain. He's this really cool 4-mana value card that's modal and does a bunch of different things and is a great control tool. You're not supposed to fucking flip that card. That's not the point.
Yeah, no, okay, fair. I agree then. I'm on your side now.
I think you're not supposed to flip him, but I think it's okay. Like if you have like Twisted Fate and 3 copies of Rummage and 2 copies of Stress Testing in your hand, yeah, you probably deserve to flip him. But like I cannot stand, even when I do it, I feel so scummy. Like pick a card, you just cast pick a card on turn 4, right? And you just pass, and your opponent's like, well, shoot, I can't attack because he's just gonna play Twisted Fate. And then, yeah, if they attack, I just go, okay, Twisted Fate blue card, untap Rummage. And it's like the easiest thing on the planet to flip Twisted Fate. Pick a card 4 mana, gives you a little bit more time. I was going somewhere else with this. Yeah, I mean, if you want to see how I feel about it, like my match against Runeterra on my channel, I do that. I go, pick a card, TF blue card, untap, Rummage away a Stress Testing, and flip him. And Raptor sad poros me, and I say under my breath, I'm like, yeah, sorry, Raptor, I know it's broken.
That's exactly the game I lost to 1 to Raptor. And the game I won was my TFs, and I did that, and he sat-poroed me, and he died.
And then he died. Yes, because the game's over. You're not winning. Yeah. So there needs to be something, and so far, Riot has done a fantastic job, I think, with their changes. Like I'm very impressed with the Ezreal change. Go hard feels perfect right now. It's still good, but it's just not like broken, and that's exactly where I want these things to be. Right? I want you to remove them from the game. I want them to still be competitive. I just don't want them to be the best possible thing you're doing. And so I'm just like, I can put out my opinion, right? I think pick a card should be 4 mana, but I'm going to wait and I'm going to see what Riot decides to do. I have a lot of trust in their balance right now for the card game.
Hard agree. Riot's good at this shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's man, what a breath of fresh air too, coming from a game that shall not be mentioned.
Magic? Sorry.
Yeah,
too late.
Oh my god.
Ban it all. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the ladder. We're talking about Twisted Fate, Fizz, the first 2 players to make a legend this season playing Twisted Fate Fizz, it looks like. Is it still just the best thing you could be doing on ladder? Has anything really changed, or are we all kind of like, are people just spinning their wheels? Obviously it's a little early to tell, but like, what do you guys think? Is Twisted Fate still just like the deck for laddering?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a tier 1 deck. Right now, what we're going to see too is decks like that are going to have a higher win rate than it should have. And even there, it should be a very high win rate just because the deck is powerful. But people playing unrefined deck lists, decks like TFs will 100% abuse that. So it goes from a good deck with already a winning win rate into a deck where you're farming people on day 1, 2, 3. Because and there's going to be counterplay. Like what have I said? Like the enter list, you're just crushing TFs. So if it stays like that, and if the matchup is indeed good for that, now you're just going to see the meta shift and like more endure, and like the TFS win rate is going to like go down to a respectable level. But right now, because we're still in a new set, and the best deck happens to be a somewhat aggressive deck that abuse people that are not refined, like the win rate goes through the roof. It's crazy.
Like this is something that I want people to keep in mind, because this has been true every time a new set drops or a new patch with some new cards drops. The decks that were there before will always be the best decks because we've spent months refining them, right? We can't expect the things people are building on day 1 to be able to necessarily take those on. That said, I was playing into TF Fizz 2 or 3 times in a row. I switched to Endure and I got to Diamond. Like, There are definitely answers to this deck now. Okay.
Yeah, agreed. And even like I felt like right before I had to do a last second climb for like 13 hours to go from 0 LP to whatever it was to get top 700. And TF Fizz wasn't really getting it done for me because there was enough people that were like came ready for some TF Fizz. And so I mean, even at the end of the last season, it wasn't like the end all be all on the ladder. And then now with Shurima, there's like Shurima. There's like new, yeah. So like the deck that one of I was talking about, there's like new decks that are like pretty good against it. So yeah, I think like you're saying, once the dust settles, I don't think it'll be quite as dominant as it first was when it first came out.
Yeah, there's also like basic like a laddering theory, I guess. If you're gonna like, if I want to climb to Masters as fast as physically possible, I pick a deck. I pick the fastest deck with an above 50% win rate. If Anivia is 56% and Burn is 52, I'm playing Burn because I'm getting 3 times as many games in, and you just like go faster.
Disagree.
Really? Okay. I mean that's
Yeah.
fine. Give me. Come on. Give me.
So here's the thing. So I get that what you're saying. I get what you're saying, right? And I get that that's something that a lot of people do. But
Mhm.
the thing you have to consider is that if I'm playing a 51% win rate deck and I'm just playing a billion games with it, then maybe I'm gaining like, basically every 100 games I'm gaining like 20 LP.
Not LP. We're climbing 2 Masters. It's different in Masters.
Okay, but it's
Oh no,
you
it's
can
still
think,
LP.
you can think of it as
That's
just
right.
20 LP.
Yeah, sure. It's win loss 20 yet.
But if I'm playing Anivia, if it takes me 15 rounds to win a game as Anivia versus let's call it 5 to win a game with discard aggro, if I can get a solid 70% win rate with Anivia, and I know that sounds ridiculous, but if I'm in a meta where everyone's playing aggro, that's not that hard.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to be climbing a lot faster because I'm not going to be dropping many games.
What you guys' argument comes down to quality versus quantity and the other way around, basically.
Yeah, you could do the math, right? You could be like, okay, I get this many games and I have this percentage win rate. Let's figure out what's the optimal way. Not really like, yeah, you could do that. And I don't advise people do that. I think you should play what you want to play and play like what you enjoy and what you think is good, regardless of laddering. Climbing to Masters fast is like cool and everything, but it's not really a huge deal. But the people that get to Masters first are going to be the people who play more aggressive styles, most likely.
The people who get to Masters first are going to be people playing the most broken decks.
Yes, of course. And Fizz just happens to be that. And it's aggressive. And it's quick, right? It just checks all the boxes. It's just the best possible thing right now.
Yeah, so I agree with what am I here last seasonal. Ace was the first one to make it with Go Hard. And so, like, that definitely not the fastest deck in the format.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like, I did, I did look. So I've been playing Go Hard and Lee Sin this season. And I have 70% win percentage with both of them. But when I was looking at it, my matches with the Go Hard deck were actually not that long. They were like around 10, 12 minutes. Whereas the Lee Sin was like longer, a little bit longer. Like 15, 17 minutes, some 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Because you rope every turn playing Lee Sin.
You have so many
decisions. It's hard
I'm
deck.
saying I don't. I'm saying everyone ropes every turn playing Lee Sin.
You have to take a while when you play Lee Sin sometimes.
I assume by roping.
I got a hot take. The card, it's a new card from the new set. It gives barrier and you rally for 4 mana.
Yes.
How is this card not totally insane?
That's not a hot take. That card definitely exists.
Okay,
Yes,
but like, so I haven't seen anyone play it in Fiora Shen. How is this not like the nuttiest thing ever? Where you're just like kill a thing, like give it protection, take another turn, kill a bunch of other stuff, like like I haven't seen a single person play it or talk about it even.
Yeah, it's still one more point of mana than Pursuit, so there's a real cost to it. Like, so I think your deck needs to be actively wanting to have the barrier. So the only deck I have actually seen that card in was Fiora Shen, and it does make sense. And it's basically cost versus reward. Like, is it worth the 1 more mana where sometimes you can't really do your Bright Steel Formation online into Pursuit, which was a play you could do, but now you can't do it anymore if you're swapping Pursuit for that. So is it worth it? Probably. But in other decks, I don't see that card being just better than Pursuit unless you want Pursuit 5/6, which...
Yeah, so I was thinking that it would replace one of the like other barrier cards that cost 4. So I was thinking of it as barrier plus rally compared to barrier plus 3+0 or barrier plus lifelink.
They're more protection spells than anything
Yeah,
else,
now
right?
you're swapping protection spell
Yeah.
for like aggressive rally spell, and those are two different things. I feel
Yeah.
like.
So it's a good card. It just doesn't have a home right now.
I think the only home is Fiora.
I like the card. I suspect once we get a more refined version of Fiora Shen going forward, it may well look like one rally in one of these. Because I've always personally really liked 2 rallies in Fiora Shen, and I think now that we have this one and both are really good choices, we may end up on 2 rallies, one of each.
One of each is possible.
Yeah, I like one of each. Another point of consideration is that your rally turns on Fiora Shen were like sometimes turn 4 when you go Fiora Shen, but not like your rally turns are like the Cythria turn and the Bright Steel turn, 6 and 9. So you like play your Cythria or whatever. If it's on their turn, you rally, and then you attack with your Cythria, huge buff. They have bad blocks, and then you open again. And that was what made it so powerful. The 4 mana delays that. And it doesn't make the card like unplayable. I think you really want the barrier in Fiora Shen, but that's what I use my rallies for. And if I don't have that option, it feels a little less good.
It's wanting to do different things, right? If we think about what this one wants to do, then it wants to happen not necessarily on your turn 6 with Cythria. It maybe wants to happen on their turn 6 after Dragon, right? It's not quite the same thing, but it gives you a little bit more power.
Is it a slow spell?
Yes.
Yes.
Could you imagine?
I thought it was. I thought it was faster. I thought it was faster.
I can see why you would replace like. No, I would swap Spirit Shifter for that card. It was fast.
I was like, this card's insane. This is so sick.
I'm playing like anything that could draw it too.
Yeah, reading is tech.
Like even if it was fast, if that card was fast, it would be busted. Let alone burst.
That's what I thought it was.
I remember Fast Speed.
Oh god, I remember Fast Speed Rally too. I didn't like those days. Those were dark days. The original rally was Fast Speed, Majin. The 3-mana rally was fast.
It's like the quintessential slow spell. The spell has to be slow. It makes no sense.
You just like attack, they block, and you get cryo, and you just cast it, and they're like, well, fuck.
Yeah, you attack, they get to set up blocks, you rally mid-combat, they get 1 action, and you attack them again.
Wow.
Or even worse, they open their turn by playing like a vengeance on one of your units.
You just rally. And you like open back, right? Or you deny rally.
Deny rally, and they're
I get the open attack.
No, I am the open attacker.
So gross. I hate it.
I think
I'm so glad I got changed.
Amazing.
Any other cards from the set that you guys thought were like, hey, this is way better than I thought? I feel like most of us were pretty on about.
I'm actually really impressed by Exhaust.
Yeah, Exhaust was one of my top 5 cards of the set, actually, like the day before. I put that at top 5.
I thought it was going to be kind of like mediocre, and it's pretty sick. I'm considering going up to 3 copies in the deck I'm playing it in.
I really like it.
My favorite pet card right now is Stone Weaving. It's the one that's like generate landmarks.
The first one. No, the 1-mana one, right? That makes the
generate landmarks, because I just feel like it's exactly like Targon's Spell Thief, where I can try to, well, not exactly, but kind of a similar playstyle, and you can manipulate the RNG. So since it's going to give you a landmark that you can cast this turn, you can say you're at 8 mana, you can go down in mana because you want the Blighted Ravine, so you go down to 4 mana. So it's not going to give you like a Noxious Arena or things like that. That's 5 mana. So it's going to give you 4 under. You want the Ancient Prep thing to like to just like cycle. There's lots of cheap landmarks, like the 1 mana that predicts, the 2 mana that draws 2, the 2 mana from Targon that just generate 2 celestial spells in your hand. That's, you're gonna have good value at low mana cost, and later in the game you can cast it when you have 7 mana. You can Howling Abyss a control deck, and you say that's so I love this card. It's just a pet card of mine, but I don't think there's any home for it right now.
There's a bug. There's a bug that I encountered playing that card. Not the card itself, but as a doubled Talia. It wouldn't let me cast it when I had 2 mana. It said you can't play this card right now. like there are 3 1-mana landmarks, right? There's the
Yeah,
Frozen
you
Thrall.
can't cast it if you only have spell mana. If you're 0 unit mana and you have 3 spell mana, the card isn't castable. But if you actually have a unit mana, this card should be castable. So I don't know why
Okay,
you
but
wouldn't.
if you're just on spell mana, you can't cast it.
No, not castable.
Oh,
Because
because
it will
No,
it will
yeah.
tell you that like you cannot cast it this turn, and it only gives you landmark that you can cast after the stone weaving.
Got it. It's not a bug. I'm just an idiot. We're good.
Oh, good.
Classic.
I've been quite impressed with most of like the stream of combat tricks. So like exhaust, Renekton spell, whatever that was called, that's pretty much the same thing. Even like the quicksand and spirit fire have actually been, I think, performing relatively well. They all seem to have spots where they would hit. They all seem good, but not like too powerful. And of course, Shurima gets their deny, which is kind of stupid. Overall, I think Shurima is very close to like why people don't like Targon, because Targon almost does everything, and Shurima's pretty close to getting there.
Shurima
I
can't
feel.
heal.
But of course, new expansion hype. Everyone loves the cards. Everyone loves Shurima. Everyone hates Targon.
I wish
close
Mono
there.
Shurima was a thing. I love the design of the 4 mana card, the one that draws a champion, and things like that, and just Bird Sundisk. But I've never seen that deck work for the past 2 days. I've played against it many times. I've played it. I don't think anything that I've seen make this deck work, sadly. So like Shurima still needs some more good cards. There's still a little bit too much filler, but it is like, isn't that exactly what we said when Targon came out? Where like people are like, Targon is fine, but more and more cards got added, and just wait. Gotta get 2 more expansion with mainly Shurima's cards, right?
I
played
actually. You first, Majin.
So I played against the Mono Shurima deck first, twice in a row. Those were my first 2 matches. And they both flipped their Sundisk on turn 6 against me. They just went like Azir, Renekton, cast a 7-mana card on turn 6, and I just like lost the game. And I was like, is this good? Is this better than I thought it was? So I played it and just got like bodied. I was like, what's happening? Why did it work for my opponent?
So I don't think the deck is consistent enough to be good right now, but I do have one really important complaint, and I need Riot to nerf this right away. Okay? Like, freaking hotfix this immediately. Because if they have the Sundisk in play and both champions, and they play the 7-mana spell, you sit there for like 5 minutes watching a goddamn cutscene. Like,
It's a feature-length movie.
5 different fucking videos in a row, and that is a problem.
It's like the last Avenger. It's just like
it's just a long
you just sit
movie.
there and enjoy it. That's important.
I went to the bathroom once and like grabbed a snack. But there's also like the Sundisk bugs right now that are going around. There's like the Talia one where it like auto flips, and then there's the one where like if you have multiple Sundisk in play and you level up a champion, it takes 10 off like all of them.
I mean, that's
so like
that should happen.
No. It takes 10 off like all of them. Each of them does that.
So
if I have a 25
shit.
count Sundisk, and I have Nasus, Azir, or let's say 20, right? And I have Nasus, Azir, and I level up Azir, I'm getting like my Sundisk finishes.
Oh,
that's actually why some Mono Shurima's decks were running like Stone Weaving, the landmark generation spell, and you just go down to 1 mana.
Oh, Cephalopod just said that it's intentional. Yeah. But that beat me multiple times, and I was like, "Excuse me."
If that's intentional, that might actually be a way to make this deck more consistent, because then you only need to level 1 champion.
But that is why then there's a reason to play more than one of this card, because like when I built it there, I'm like, okay, one of this card.
So I guess
but you play triple Sundisk. That's sweet.
So you play triple Sun. Okay.
Yeah, and it
I'm
gets
gonna
better.
have to do this. I'm gonna have to do this now.
Same.
And you level Azir like in your sleep, right? That
just play the game.
Yeah. So that's Oh, actually, I just got linked to the Riot Umbrage Twitter post. Yes, it is intended. We treat Sundisk as a special landmark. Wanted to future-proof stone weaving to give live choices more of the time. That is very interesting. Thanks, Cephalopod.
Hey, thanks, Seth.
I'm gonna have to go build Mono Shurima now, and it's all your fault.
Again.
This is terrible.
Sounds awesome.
Oh my
It
goodness.
sounds awesome. I mean, it definitely makes the archetype more viable. And then, as we were saying, the more that the expansions come out, the better Mono Shurima gets. It literally cannot get worse. So we'll just have to
Pretty
see where it ends up.
nasty.
What I'm saying, I'm seeing it on Twitter right now. He said it was intentional for the send to see Sandisk of Stoneweaving, but he answered later to Tamanda, who said that when you level the champion, it drops by 20 if you have 2, and he says he's aware and is raising. Thanks for raising concern. So I'm not sure it's intentional. If you look
So
at his,
maybe
okay.
that was the wrong.
so you look at his tweets
I was-
replies. The most recent
Oh,
one
good.
is the one answering that bug, and he says, "Yeah, we're aware, and thanks for raising
Okay.
concern." So might not be.
Okay, so might be removed. Keep your eye out for it.
Then
Everyone.
I will not be making Mono Shurima if I might be possibly making a bug abuse deck, because that
Well, you
would
can't.
be bad.
Yeah, I hate. Oh god. I had someone running a deck specifically to abuse the Talia Sundisk bug that's going around right now. I don't know exactly how it works, but it's another thing where it just like auto flips your Sundisk if you played Talia or something like that. And that just felt bad.
That's
Yeah,
just
like-
report
yeah.
those people. That's not
It's
okay.
like, okay, cool. I'm glad you got to plat 3, buddy. Like,
And
I
now-
got a jet. It's been awesome. I will catch you guys next week.
All right, thanks for hanging out.
thanks for coming, man.
Later, bud. All right, we should wrap it up. It's been
I have
fun.
a moral questions for you guys before we
Okay, I
go.
want to hear it.
So the bug
Do
I
it.
said with Cataclysm, where you can pull your unit back
Yeah.
when it gets challenged. Should you be doing it on ladder if it like saves you the game? Moral question.
Yeah. So on the ladder, I mean, like it's kind of like who
Those for your-
cares?
Yeah, but you're like basically put fleet on the stack, and you could just decide to not to die. You decide to die here.
Okay, so this is the thing. So moral wise, like if whether you're playing for like $1 billion or for try to make platinum, it doesn't really matter, right? Like it's like right is right, wrong is wrong. I've always looked at it like this, as in like whatever the game lets you do, you should be allowed to do, because that's just how it is. Right? Like you are playing a video game within these certain constraints. Unless for some reason it's specified that you can't or shouldn't. Like if Riot's like, hey, there's this bug, don't do that, then like, okay, then you shouldn't be doing that. But if nothing is said, if there's not in the rules somewhere, then it's all fair game. If you can like click on your opponent's pet 100 times and like, I don't know, you win the game magically, well,
like,
whatever.
them.
Yeah. that happened in Magic, actually. That was an arena thing. That's actually pretty shit.
yeah.
That's pretty shit. I wouldn't ever do that or think that was okay. That's next level. That's like fucked up. That's breaking the rules. Whereas like if the card's not working as intended, I'm just like, that's what the card does now. Like that's how the card's coded. That's what the card actually does, even if it's not intended
The problem
to.
is you're like you have the moral high ground if you don't do it, but like now if you play Cataclysm and the other peoples do it against you, like
You're screwed.
the other peoples are gonna do it against you. Like it's kind of like damn.
So I'm not saying that you should. I'm not saying that you should. I'm not advocating for doing that at all. I'm saying that there's nothing wrong with it. And if you're playing in a tournament, especially, and there's like no rules against this, no one says, hey, you have to do it, then I'm like,
Yeah.
then I'm like, go. Yeah. And then exactly. When there are rules or there's an announcement or something saying it, then obviously you shouldn't be doing it. Ladder's like,
sorry, go finish.
who cares the ladder? No, yeah, go.
So yeah, ladder. I mean, don't do this. No one cares. It's ladder.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
It's fine. All right. In tournaments, if the tournament does not tell you that you cannot use this, like the tournament should say you cannot use this bug, exploit, whatever. If they don't tell you that, and you find yourself in the position to use the exploit, I think like I probably wouldn't, but you can, and I won't like look down on you for that. But a nice little like analogy, I guess. I played Magic with someone for a long time. They were on my competitive, I guess, like team, right? So I would always go to events with them. And this guy was one of those guys who would fish for like rules lawyering. You know what I mean? Like he would. Have you heard the story about the guy who offered his opponent's deck or offered his deck to his opponent to cut it, and then his opponent cut it, and he just said, "Judge, he shuffled my deck without
I've heard
like any
something
reason to get rid of this man." Like it was it's scummy, right? Like you're trying to win outside the game.
one in Magic, where
Yeah.
you're like in a losing position, and now what you're trying to do is make your opponent, especially when there was a rule change where some triggers you couldn't miss, some trigger you could miss, and things like that. And when you some triggers that you missed and that you shouldn't have, now you get a warning. And some people decided to just straight up abuse that, like exactly with the morph thing, like in Tarkir, Cans of Tarkir. I don't know if you played in that time. Is if you don't reveal your morphs at the end of the game, you got a game loss, which the rules is pretty stupid.
Yeah.
But some people at the end of those kind of games were just like starting to chat up with your opponent and just ask you a question. What are you gonna eat later? And you pick up all your cards, and as soon as like the cards touches, the guy's like, oh, judge. It's like fucking scumbag.
And
It's
like I don't even like associate with those kind of people. Like, if you're that kind of person, like this person that I'm referring to, I don't talk to them. Like I do not like those kind of people. And it doesn't really have anything to do with the game specifically. It's like if you're the kind of person to exploit, I mean, I guess these things, right? For I don't know. It just feels so scummy to me, and I don't like it. Again, on ladder, you shouldn't be doing it because no one cares. If it's not against the rules in the tournament, a bug in the game is different than like the rules lawyering, by the way. But yeah, I think like if they say, hey, there's a fizz bug that if you do this, this, and this, it causes your opponent to lose the game, and the tournament does not ban that, that is now a feature in your game. It is no longer a bug, right? When your opponent brings the fizz deck, you got to watch out for that. You can't let him do that. So that's my take.
Would you do it just sensational?
No, I probably wouldn't. Well, I probably wouldn't realize that I could. I don't know. Like, that's not like an easy thing to actually discover. Like, who thinks about like pulling away their unit that's been challenged by a spell?
Kevin's like me.
So props to the guys found it out. That's impressive on its own. I mean, I would laugh it off the first time.
Like
but
challenge, like nope.
It's pretty widespread. Like, same thing with like yeah. Like same thing with Helios thing. Like you can play a second burst spell to get like a second weapon in hand. Like I didn't do that. There was like a game where I played a friend. I asked him like, oh hey, this is a spot where I could do this and maybe get ahead. Are you fine with it? And I was like, I asked for their permission at least. And they're like a game against Imagine where I forgot to like pull in a challenger, and then he's like, oh, I'll let you have it anyway.
Oh yeah, he forgot to do that challenger and then attack, and I blocked.
Yeah. And but like there's this bug with Vi. You guys wouldn't know because you guys don't play Vi, but if you hush Vi and Vi survives, and then when Vi levels up, it jumps to 18 power instead of 10. So obviously you can't stop that yourself. I wouldn't concede the game just because I level up Vi. Now Vi has like 18 power. But like for something that you can actively prevent, I would just not.
My hands are tied, man. I have an 18 power Vi. What can I say? I mean, sorry.
To clarify, I would still not use these bugs in a tournament. I think it is morally okay to use them in a tournament setting.
Yeah.
If everyone knows they exist, I still wouldn't because that's just not the kind of person.
I agree with that take. Yeah.
Yeah, you can, and I won't look down on you for it.
That's exactly it. Like you can. It's like it is what it is. If there's no rules around it, but like you shouldn't expect that your opponents are going to play by the same rules, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's just like the hot take like that you need to look through. And like lots of times in Magic tournaments and stuff, like I could have won because of like, oh, my opponent was late, or oh, my opponent like screwed something up, and I was like, I don't want to win that way. Yeah, like drew something they shouldn't have or whatever. Like who wants to win that way, right? Like what did you just win? Nothing. Like you're not like, here's your freaking 3 packs. Like go have some fun. You big champ. You're really like. Or even more, or even like just actual money. Like, you should want to, play and win and have some amount of honor. Feel like you earned it. Don't want to be like some fake champion. But yeah, then 100% don't get mad if someone else does it to you if they're allowed to. It happens. Also, a little side, Michael in the chat says Riot has banned streamers from League of Legends for showing off bugs. So maybe something to keep in mind.
Delete the VOD.
Yeah. Yeah. Jason Sensational just exits out of the call.
One of I popped out at the right time. It's just fine, and we all get banned.
Lols. All right. Well, I think that's all for us today. Thanks again, everyone, for hanging out. Thank you guys for joining us. It's been awesome. Every Thursday, 5 p.m. We're beating these. It's great.
This was way better than Discord. The LBS Ninja.
Yes.
It was good improvement.
And then just so you guys know, you guys being the people in chat. This is just me looking at what this looks like. This is not what this will look like on YouTube. It will look all nice and professional on YouTube, and everyone's cameras will be better quality. This is how OBS Ninja saves data. Also, check it out on YouTube. Jason,
There we go.
Check it out. All right, guys.
Check it out on YouTube, boys.
Bye, everyone.
Subscribe to whose channel it is on.
Yep.
Enjoy